Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Barstool Bitcoin, episode 27 today. Lovely week, and we got some trending news stories for you today. Some big news, bigger than we've had in weeks past, so pretty excited for today's episode. But first, say hello to producer Krazzer on the line.
Boys, welcome to Epi number 28. We are glad to be back. As Dan said, we got some juicy news for y'all. And,
Definitely.
just a side note, up in here in Canada, it's feeling like we're living in igloos these days. A little bit of snow, a little bit of rain. Bust out your skates. It is fucking icy out there.
I thought you do live in an igloo in Canada, and you get dog sleds to get around. No?
Well, fucking, we got places we can do that, but here we bear the cold and enjoy the summer. So right now it's fucking hibernation
Hot
season,
summers,
boys.
cold winters. Well, it is a cold winter still for Bitcoin. I guess we'll segue that into the picks for this week, Krazzer. So what are we looking at?
Fuck, good segue there, Dan. Not even planned. I like that. Well, we're gonna look over the picks from last week. So you had the under, I had the over. It was slightly over from what we had last week. So if my calculations are correct, I'm up 2-0 in the new year. Great start to the new year. So you know what? I'm going to give you the opportunity to pick first. So maybe you can have a comeback week here, So
well,
let me see. Let's hear what you got here, bud.
I did take the under last week, and it's trading just slightly over 3,700 right now. So I'm going to stick with my pick. The under is coming, and it could be next week, could be the week after, could be in a month. I think we're in a sideways market right now. Actually, I don't think, I know. It's pretty evident by looking at the chart. Most of the top 20 cryptos are just slightly in the green or red, all trading sideways. So I'm going to take the under again.
All right, jotted it down, noted, picked is locked in. I'm going to take the over again. I don't think it's going to go much higher, but I think we're going to have a little sideways jump to the upward swing. So can I go 3-0, or will Dan jump back into the series? We'll see, boys. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. And I mean, like I said, most of the top 20 cryptos are just trading sideways right now. Ripple is seeing some small gains on the day, up about 0.5% at the time we're recording this, Thursday night, sitting at right around 31 cents. And it is the second largest crypto by market cap overall, or total market cap this week, again passing Ethereum. But we had some pretty bearish news about Ripple coming out. A report said that XRP market cap could be overestimated by billions, and this report came from a ledger tech company, that Ripple's XRP token could be overvalued by that much, which is pretty, I mean, that's just ridiculous that it could, if it is overvalued by that much, the price would just completely tumble, because I mean, Bitcoin's total market value is around 60 billion. So if Ripple is overvalued by 6 billion, I mean, that's 10% of Bitcoin's total worth, and we're talking about Ripple here, not even Bitcoin. So there's a lot of reports coming out about the legitimacy of the token itself. It's pretty difficult to debate that Ripple is a very innovative company, and they will be around for years to come, probably decades to come. If I had to put my money on it, I would. They were around before Bitcoin, actually. But the token itself just has no real, meaning to me. I think, the research firm Masari said that the health and legitimacy of their market cap is skeptical at best, and it also states that XRP's liquid circulating supply could be overestimated by 48%, which would put the actual market cap at around 6.9 billion instead of the 13 billion that it's currently sitting at right now as I look at it on CoinMarketCap. So I mean, that's that's almost half the total value of the second largest crypto. What do you make of that?
How? Okay, I don't know what I make of that. My question would be, how in the fuck is it overvaluated by almost 48%? Like I just like that's absurd. 48%? Like what goes into that? Do you know?
I'm not sure how they pulled these actual numbers out of the air. The report, when I read it, did look pretty, we'll just say, biased. They also said that Ripple's money services business, which is as close to as proven in the crypto industry as you're gonna get, that their money services business XRP2 could be subject to reselling restrictions. So it kind of seems like they're just trying to put a negative spin on XRP right now, possibly to dump it cheaper and buy up a whole shit ton of it. I mean, if I had to guess, that's what I would guess. Somebody is paying for that research.
Somebody's trying to manipulate this shit. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, because they basically came out and said that it's impossible to make, after they stated all these things about Ripple, all these negative facts supposedly about Ripple, they came out and said that it's impossible to make exact estimates without a disclosure from Ripple, which they hadn't received when they went to publishing with the story. So, I mean, it is a bit weird that they can just come out and throw a total negative spin on this.
Yeah, it's weird. Like you said, it's like an estimate. It's hard to estimate, but that's what we guess. Like, sounds a little fishy to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on with Ripple and people trying to penetrate the market right now, but the fact that the news is not affecting the prices so heavily is very positive. I think there were ETFs denied just recently. The VanEck ETF postponed, and another ETF, and a lot of people are saying it's very unlikely that ETF will be approved in 2019. And I mean, there could be a number of reasons for that. One of them is that the government is in shutdown right now in the US, so that could be difficult to get a new type of ETF approved like that when the government's shut down. But overall, it didn't really affect the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually went up just slightly. So that's good news, I think, from a fundamental analysis standpoint. And speaking of US citizens, the largest US exchange, Coinbase, has just added a bunch of tax support resources for US customers. And I know we have discussed this on a previous episode about the tax implications of trading and how you need to be prepared for that and how to effectively manage that within your total investment portfolio is very, very important in the long run, especially for US citizens. And Coinbase, the reason they're adding this is to support the users, but it's also from a liability standpoint to cover themselves, because one day they are going to be handing over all this information to the government, if they haven't already, to this the IRS, and they will do just as many other large companies such as PayPal have done, and give out their information to the IRS for, US citizens, for persons of interest. But the good news is that they have added these resources for US customers, and you can even integrate it with TurboTax. So if you use TurboTax, I mean, great. But I suggest get yourself a good accountant in any case, because I don't know how effective of financial advice Coinbase could provide to you, because they're not getting the full picture of your business, your investments, and your lifestyle. So they won't be able to effectively give you the best advice. However, it is good news that they are providing resources for their customers.
I think you're right. That's awesome, especially as we approach tax season. This is definitely another resource for consumers and everyone. So make sure, like Dan said, that you know, kind of what you're getting into. You know all about what you need to know. Get a good accountant. I know Dan said it. I'm going to say it again. Get a good accountant to make sure that you're in good standing, because we don't want to see anybody get excuse me, I get fucked over. So
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
definitely. And I think a lot of people in the future, when Bitcoin, you know, comes back to the high levels that we're all waiting for, I think it could take a really long time for that to happen. But with that said, it will happen again, and then there's going to be a lot of people in the spotlight by the government, who they're looking to nail on the taxes. So yeah, you got to have, you know, you got to be covered there. And I mean, there's so much news right now about Bitcoin and how terrible it is and everything, that it's important to stay level-headed now, but also treat this as an opportunity to accumulate as much as possible and build a real business using blockchain technology, or based around Bitcoin, or accepting Bitcoin or other altcoins as payment, however you choose, or however you've already embarked on this journey. Now is a really big opportunity. And speaking of that, analysts at JP Morgan have predicted that Bitcoin could fall below $1,260, while banks will not benefit from blockchain for at least 3 to 5 years. And I don't know if Bitcoin could dip below 1,260. I think that's highly unlikely. That's very, very low. But I do think that they're right that that banks won't benefit from blockchain for at least 3 to 5 years, because the infrastructure right now is so terrible, and the previous highs of 2017, December 2017, that's kind of like the dot-com bubble was, you know, and it took Amazon 10 years for their stock to recover and get back to all-time high. And that could very well be what happens here. And in those 10 years, Amazon became a much more mature company. They created tons of infrastructure. I mean, their major revenue source is their web hosting services. They grew that immensely in that decade. And the same will most likely happen for blockchain and for Bitcoin and other altcoins, because what we have right now is just not good enough for the consumers that we have, the people using it. And in order for crypto, or Bitcoin specifically, to reach all-time previous highs, we need so many more people to be involved and invested in Bitcoin. And not only that, we can't even support the amount of people that are using it right now. So there needs to be a lot of development that happens over the next few years, however long it takes for us to hit all-time highs. So if you're you know, just waiting like every month thinking we're just going to go on an insane bull run again, and you're going to try and cash out the Ripple you bought at $3 or the Bitcoin you bought at 20,000, well, I got some harsh news for you. That's most likely not going to happen. This could be a sideways market for a very long time. JP Morgan also said institutional involvement in crypto market has slumped over the past 6 months, with individual traders making up the majority of the market. And that's going to continue to be the case for a while until we get some volatility back. And it's going to be a long and steady climb out of this slump we're in. So, I mean, Bitcoin, I've been predicting it to drop into the 2000s for a while, so I think it'll drop to around the 2,500 point. I don't think it'll go as low as JP Morgan analysts are predicting at 1,260. But I do think we could go down another $1,000, and it's not going to be an instant 1 day price drop or a couple hour price drop. This is going to be a long grinding process. And you may have remembered JP Morgan's CEO Jamie Dimon, who's been very vocal criticizing cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, which he called a fraud, plain and simple, in back in 2017. But he recently came out, I mean, after he called it a fraud, he then said he doesn't really give a shit about Bitcoin. And then just recently he came out admitting blockchain's potential, saying that blockchain's real, it's technology, but Bitcoin is not the same as a fiat currency. So, I mean, there is some positive spin there that I think we could pull out of there. But overall, yeah, the future for Bitcoin, I don't want to say it looks bleak, but it's going to remain steady, and we're going to stay in consolidation period that we've been stuck in for a year.
So basically, to sum up what you said, slow and steady wins the race here, boys. This is not a next week thing like Dan said, but if you gotta stick with it sometimes, and then when you stick with it, you reap the benefits. And pretty quick 180 by old Jamie Dimon here, or how do you pronounce his name?
Jamie Dimon. I don't know if that's the right way to say it.
Demon, Diamond, whatever you want to say. But yeah, quick 180 there.
Yeah, exactly. But you're right. It's slow and steady does win the race, and Bitcoin is the tortoise, and we saw that Ripple and a lot of these altcoins look to be like the hare. They had just insane growth from a percentage standpoint, and then just insane money pouring out of the total market cap. Ethereum lost 95% of its total market cap. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy if you think about it, and that would lead one to think that it is undervalued at current prices. It's not 95% down from all-time high right now, but it went down to $88, which is a 95% loss of growth, and now we're trading like around 115, I believe, last time I checked. And then last thing here I wanted to touch on, Krazzer, is Mike Novogratz. We're always talking about this guy. Galaxy Digital is one of those really innovative companies that's at the forefront of blockchain, and they've been very action-oriented in creating infrastructure plays for the ecosystem. And this is an unconfirmed story. However, I do believe that there is some validity to it. So we'll follow up on this and discuss it in a future episode if it does prove to be true. But Mike Novogratz's Galaxy Digital is raising another $250 million to offer crypto loans, and Mike Novogratz owns the merchant bank Galaxy Digital. They're one of the first banks to use and incorporate cryptocurrency, and they're reportedly raising another $250 million to offer loans to crypto-related firms. So that would be very, very useful because they're savvy investors, and they'll invest in good products and good companies that have a solid team and have a solid vision and have the ability to execute that vision. So that will go a long way because we're going to need more private lending in the space in order to develop infrastructure.
It sounds like so did it say like just pretty much big firms? It wouldn't be like to like consumers directly, eh? From what you say here?
No, it wouldn't be. So there's two types of loan products that I've seen in the crypto space. There is straight VC type funding where they will fund a business, and then there's loans to crypto firms or new. It used to be a lot of new tokens, but now it's more so ancillary businesses around related to creating infrastructure for the community that they're loaning money to. They're not loaning money to individuals who want to purchase Bitcoin, although I'm sure there are companies that might do that, but I would assume that it would be very high interest. And there's also different companies that offer secured loans against your crypto. So you can give them, let's say, 10 Bitcoin, and they'll give you however much money you're asking for. You're securing the loan. I'm not sure if it could be a greater amount than the market value of that Bitcoin, but if the value of that cryptocurrency goes lower, then you are out for that cash, and you have to pay them that cash to back up the value of the loan. So it's a bit risky, and it's not the best idea. But I think overall, this story about Novogratz is another ray of sunshine in this dark, stormy season we've faced in Bitcoin last year and a month almost now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's interesting to see. And like you said, I think you said that you believe the story should have some merit behind it. So it'll be interesting to see where that can take off to coming from that.
Yeah, and the company I was thinking about they offer loans to different people, to personal entities, or to persons and also entities. They'll give out their Bitcoin to this company, and then they will issue you a cash loan. That company is called Salt. They have a token. They used to be top 100 market cap. Not quite sure if they are right now. I would assume they are. And they issued a report saying that they issued 54 million in loans by the end of 2018. So that's pretty good. And they also stated that they're planning to expand their team by 25% this year. So it means that there is quite a bit of demand for that.
That's good. That's on the positive end, right? But 25% is a pretty solid increase for 1 year, if you ask me, too. So
yeah, definitely don't want to sleep on that. I would say that is pretty damn good.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the most noteworthy stories. We didn't go too far in the ETF stuff because I just think that, it's just been the same story over and over with the ETFs, and I'm not expecting it to change much soon. So we'll just continue to pay attention, and we will monitor that, but don't get your hopes up for a Bitcoin ETF being approved in 2019. All right, so let's wrap up the show here. Any last words, Krazzer?
Just wanted to thank all the listeners. Hope you're enjoying the new year, and hopefully you've set out all your goals and you're still being able to reach them. And we really enjoy bringing you all the news, boys. And keep on listening. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, friends, for listening to the pod today. And I just want to tell you real quick about Synnit.com. If you haven't heard of it, want to check it out at synnit.com. There's trading signals on sale right now. The signals are over 90% accurate so far, so it's a hell of a bargain. And Synnit.com helps you understand how to look at Bitcoin, especially in this sideways market, how to do analysis, and of course gives you ready to go trade signals. You enter in your BitMEX or your Deribit account, and I'm sure we all get different signals for Bitcoin, but Synnit.com cuts through all the confusion and avoids any fluff, gives you just the information you need to book profits. So there's no filler in there, just cold, hard, unemotional analysis and trade signals, so you can profit in any market condition. You just go to Synnit.com, that's Synnit.com, use promo code Barstool, and you get a lifetime account for one low price. So you just go to Synit.com, you check out and fill out the short form there, and then they'll get back to you with your account details. It's super simple. After that, you get their real-time signals, no bots. I can't recommend these enough, boys. And again, when you visit the website right now, you're going to get 50% off a lifetime membership. So lifetime signals at synnit.com and use the code BARSTOOL at checkout to get 50% off.